So, when a person's alive and then a person gets killed, obviously, this is when a person dies. And when a person dies, it's either one, they could go to heaven, two, they can just show up at the next life, three, they can be stuck in purgatory. And the reason why people get stuck in purgatory is because usually it's supposed to be because someone does something wrong. And for someone to do something wrong, they should always be explained why they did something wrong, and how they did something wrong, and who. So, I mean, in these circumstances, if people just get put in purgatory, symbolically speaking of one of the American USA films, or unless it's British, was actually that this guy's wife was stuck in purgatory because she was so depressed and whatever else, and she couldn't exit because she was stuck in some bad place and she couldn't see. And just how exactly would any person leave purgatory if the thoughts are so bad, if the voices are so bad, if the attacks are so bad, if everything about it is so bad that even the third eye life cycle cycles around and everything makes sense and pieced up together to make sense to that something was wrong since the beginning till the end. Leaving it to be that, how would a person exit purgatory? So, during this swarm of purgatory and third eye openings, which is to track my life path as I had died and could not pass, before all this I was going to church and was headed right to heaven, but strange enough, they were praying for people stuck in purgatory and I went to purgatory. So, during the passing and the purgatory stage, I was wondering why I passed and was not informed, one, that I passed, two, why I passed, how I passed, or what happened. So when a person is not informed that they had died, how would a person pass? Which is illegal, isn't it? And to top that off, it is very strange to just not know why or the reasons or what is properly correct. So this happened to me approximately twice. One was that I passed during spending time with my sisters and became a Shida soul and was going to enter just some other world. And at my point in that time, I wanted to know who the husband was. And if it was like some sort of spiritual American passing, wouldn't it be that my family members are there awaiting me? And none were. It was like I woke up in this disgusting pod that was not even like anything nice or not even anything futuristic. It was some disgusting pod. So my understanding of this is that obviously I was not going to pass there because one who was there to greet me obviously seemed like my grandfather, but why would I see my grandfather, my real grandfather, and no one else that was outside the door? And with my trauma of walking through a door and becoming younger, obviously my soul is not going to just walk through a door and get a body, is it? And it's probably not going to be my age. It's probably going to be some kid's age. And why would I repeat that? So obviously I had woken back up in my body that was in Norwalk. And the second time was, I didn't even know, but I just went to church and I felt like I was in heaven and they were praying for people that were stuck in purgatory. And I don't know where someone inside my body and head said I was stuck in purgatory. So it was almost like I prayed to go to purgatory. And during this stage in purgatory, I happen to have a third eye opening, which is Buddhist, to track my life path to see what had happened. And obviously, the evidence continues to point at the person that I apparently heard had wed. So why am I in purgatory and not them? Or the people that had signed them to wed? Obviously, I'm in purgatory and I can't see my husband, my friends, my family like some movie, and obviously they're probably fucking somewhere because I do hear it, and I do hear it often. So, for me to exit this so-called hellhole and purgatory and shit fucking life, obviously the only exit and way I would do it is possibly the same way I did it last time. It's to forgive, and live life stupid naive, and then they're just gonna call me human all over again. And whoever's stuck on Earth is just gonna go to sleep and think they're all human. Because it's gonna cycle around, obviously, and it's obviously gonna cycle all over the place, and everyone's gonna think that they're human. And they're gonna look at the history books. Oh, there were once gods born here, there, but nowhere in the future and nowhere where I am. So obviously, angels, anyone that is around, is gonna go back to the same square one as we're all stupid, naive, and human, making mistakes. So, my question is, the people that had did something wrong to people don't go to purgatory and confess, or don't sit around and wonder what they did wrong to people. Why am I in purgatory for someone else's decisions and mistakes? And if it's about John, then obviously I had to clear that one. It's because he fucking wed, so I had no choice but to fuck a dick somewhere. Obviously. And that dick is obviously written all over the place. It's not hiding anywhere. It's John Shalong. So, I mean, like, and it's Jane Doe, John Doe. So, I mean, what is there to hide? In the end, like, shouldn't everyone be stuck in purgatory to find out what they do? But obviously they don't. So, obviously, the same people are going to make the same mistakes because they don't sit around stuck in their heads wondering what they did wrong. They have me and Jake sit around stuck in our heads for someone else's mistakes. So, I mean, I got, like, way more than enough answers to what happened, why it happened, in my part, my case, my life, and my self-absorbing body temperature heat of transforming into a vampire. But the case is actually that I went to Sean's house. He had every clock, and he turned on all at once. So obviously, throughout all this time, throughout every time, every life, I probably get a glimpse of his supposed wedding. And his supposed wedding is most likely with someone else. So I walked out, 3 years old, dyslexic, and couldn't speak, couldn't tie my shoes, basically sued to the max, and basically unable to move, and unable to learn anything properly, because it was obvious that someone had mentioned that the knob gets sued because the knob wants someone else's. So, in this circumstance is that a soul is even getting sued because the soul wants the husband and the divine partner. But they want to tell me that it's not my divine partner and our husband. So, they want to tell me that someone else fucking is. Or that I don't get any. So, I'm constantly charged for wanting my divine partner. And that seems to be the case here. And that's why people go around and said every knob feels pain, every knob gets killed, because they want to ruin other people's relationships and lives. So I'm considered a knob for wanting the supposed husband. And that's why I was 1, dyslexic, 2, crazy, 3, I saw images in my head, and everything else. So, I mean, and the hearing voices. So, this concludes to that someone else made a mistake somewhere else and couldn't admit or take fault for it. And maybe that's why the whole family is considered dead somewhere. Including me, because I am the supposed real wife. So, this is obviously that my father had mentioned to me when I was a kid that if every person jumps off a bridge, are you? And that I must have a reason for everything I do and want and need. So, obviously, this had instilled upon me since I was a child. So if everyone jumps the gun and obviously weds who the fuck ever, am I gonna do it? Most likely not. Not anymore. Because maybe that's an obvious sign that people die when they wed someone else's. And that's when Jane and John wed and got murdered. So, murdered ensued beyond maximum punishment. So it's obvious that the reason to not jump off a bridge because everyone else does obviously means that if everyone else weds who the fuck ever, where the fuck ever, whatever time, whatever place, regardless of if it's in no time, which meant infinity time or wherever, am I gonna do it? Most likely not. And that's probably why you, if you do listen and you do hear, you probably hear me say I wed none. And that is probably why I had the first boyfriend named None. Because I fucked none and I wed none. So, to infinity and to the universe, obviously, in creation, there's only one person created for one person, as we all know this. As if you read the original Bible that talks about Adam and Eve being a divine partner, and of course, God and everyone else is going to make life theirs to a point where everyone gets their divine partner as well, if you have any common sense in that part of the department of your brain. But obviously, my divine partner wed, and obviously there's no turning back or coming back from this, because how long has it been? And obviously, how much pain and sufferings would I have to endure to forgive or to forget? Would this affect many people or would it not? That's the question. And did it affect many people? For example, let's say Zach and I were in our infinite bodies, like the body I saw Satan in. This is when, obviously, someone killed someone, downgraded someone, and fucked someone and wed someone. Because there are such things as I'm awesomer and I'm a one-upper. So in this scenario, people that wed someone else's in no time, in 60, and wherever else, obviously, this explains why I'm in 3D, because I used to live in 4D, and I wed John there. But why did I wed John there? Obviously, this cycles through the whole infinity, because some guy fucking wed in no time, and somehow it became my fault. In the end, I go to church and say, my fault, and they all said, it's Jane's fault? Because they showed me in a church and said I had to say that part. So obviously, in this scenario, it's always going to be my fault in the end, in the beginning to the end. So it's always my fault. Because someone wants to fuck someone else and not feel pain, but have me feel their pain. So this is a constant thing where good things come in, and it happens to be my life, my dream, my wishes, and including Jacob's. So in this scenario someone's better than someone, and it probably shows all over the planet, somewhere, sometime, someplace. So the grass is always greener on the other side, meaning that one side is always going to be better than the other side to many people, and this is when, strange enough, the grass is greener on the other side to me when I'm asleep, and pretty much I don't have existence when I'm asleep. So, when I do dream, it's constantly nightmares and night terrors, or dreams that make no sense, like the dream I had last night where I just sat and looked at mail. And strange enough, the mail I couldn't even bring to my awakening, which is my morning, so it was pretty much a pointless dream. And what is the point of all that? What was the point of that? Just to say I had a dream somewhere, but pretty much was pointless. So, strange enough, to dream that someone gave you something, did something for you in your dream, but you can't literally, bring it back. Like, one time I had a dream my nephew gave me a gold bracelet, but I couldn't bring it back home to my morning. So, I mean, to think about it, it's pretty ridiculous. Because I have one life in the morning. So, these clips of dreams in the night, I can't literally even bring the items back, or I can't literally go back there in my dream to actually get those things or meet those people or have another life in my dream. So, obviously, it's pointless. And the only time I'm not disturbed, harmed, or attacked, with or without anyone here or knowing, that is when I'd rather sleep and pretty much say fuck it, which is pretty much I have no existence in my sleep.